But I got one more quick topic I want to go to real quick. And last year in December, I believe, when Kevin Feige made the announcement at the Disney Investor Day, he gave us the bad news that they're not going to be recasting T'Challa in the MCU. And I was pretty frustrated about that. And so what I did, I had a live, and y'all can go check it out. And here was a thumbnail. It was called Recast T'Challa. And I had some of the family up here. It was myself. It was Larry. It was Eman. It was Sharronda. And it was a very entertaining, spirited conversation, you know. And, you know, and I wanted to talk about it again because we have another brother that is on the panel today, actually right now, that's going to bring us to the second topic of the evening is Recast T'Challa Part 2.
Oh,
Recast T'Challa Part 2, right? And I have the report right here from the Wrap right here that somebody has put together. I wonder who it is. It says Marvel should recast T'Challa and the Black Panther to honor Chadwick Boseman. Guest blog, and oh my goodness, y'all. It is your boy Emmanuel Noisette right here. Eman with Eman Movie Reviews. We have him in the building. He was the guest writer on the Wrap, putting this together. He is fighting hard to get T'Challa recast. And he just goes off show like if Marvel kills off the character, it also kills off decades of future inspiring stories, especially for Black boys and writes Emmanuel Noisette. So there is a link of this article down in the description box, and I have a call to action. Look at your boy right there, smiling all big. I love it. You know what I'm saying? So there's a link down to it in the description box. You guys can go read that and share it. But E-Man, I'm coming to you first, of course, man.
Yes, sir.
I want you to go ahead and shine. This is your stage. The spotlight is on you. Promote this article, my brother. Tell us what it's about. Tell them why we should recast T'Challa. Talk about whatever you want on this topic. The floor is yours, sir. The floor is yours.
Well, let me first say that, you know, the passing of Chadwick was definitely, it hurt me, you know, professionally and personally. You know, Chadwick moved me to the point where, you know, as a critic, I was like geek just to, you know, interview this man. You know, the stuff that he did with Black Panther got me to go buy out a whole theater just to share it with my community and stuff. So a lot of the things that he did, you know, personally, and I mean, this man was going out and visiting sick kids and stuff while he had cancer and stuff. So he was just such an inspiration to me, that I just, you know, was really, really enamored by him. And when Marvel made that decision not to recast him, I was like, wait a minute, because it really does go against, I believe, a lot of things that not only Chadwick stands for, but the representation of the character of T'Challa. And here's I guess some people kind of miss this because some people's only experience with, you know, Black Panther is what they saw in the MCU. And I don't think a lot of people know the history of him. I don't think a lot of people understand what he means. When we talk about representation, you know, diversity, inclusion, that's who T'Challa is to mainstream comics. He was the very first leading Black character in mainstream comics. He wasn't a sidekick. He wasn't a magical Negro. He wasn't a supporting character. Matter of fact, he was the only, as of today, he's the only leading and main character in the MCU that's Black. That, like, everybody else is a supporting character or a sidekick. And my thing is, like, you know, I also took the time to go listen to Chadwick's interviews. I've listened to this man's speeches. I've listened to his friends and family and stuff. He's a big proponent of passing the baton to other people. He's a big proponent of believing. There's actually a text message he had with Roland Martin, where he told Martin, I want to say this was like a couple weeks before the brother passed. He was like, yo, the roles I take on are bigger than me. I want people to remember the roles and not me. So when I talk about Recast T'Challa, I'm not talking about let's replace Chadwick Boseman. You can't do that. Chadwick Boseman is Chadwick Boseman. I'm talking about let's fulfill the role that this man put his blood, sweat, and tears into. He worked on building up T'Challa while he had cancer. And he wanted that role to keep elevating because that's why he signed on to Black Panther 3. And my thing is, like, you know, the best way to honor him is not to stop his work, Because what I would challenge anybody is, hey, how do you kill a legend? How do you stop a legend? By stopping their story, by no longer talking about them. I can ask anybody here today without Googling, who was the $6 million man? Who was the Bionic Man? Does anyone bring him up in casual conversation? If they don't, and they really don't, it's because the role hasn't been recast. The story hasn't been retold over years. And that's why I'm saying, let's recast T'Challa, no different than how we recast James Bond, Spider-Man, Batman, and all these other characters to keep him in the conversation. You keep his legend alive because we keep seeing other iterations, and we can, and guess what? For future generations to sit here and be like, oh man, look at this version of T'Challa. I remember the first T'Challa. You know, it was Chadwick Boseman. Don't nobody forget about Christopher Reeves. Why? Because Henry Cavill and other people have been taking on that role. And the other more important thing I should talk about, because I know sometimes people are like, man, I can't see nobody else instead of Chadwick Boseman. That's understandable. That's called emotional recency bias. I can't either. But as many fans, we're not casting directors. We're not Hollywood directors. We're not in that space. We are consumers, not producers, which means we don't believe things until we see it. It's not until we saw Heath Ledger as Joker that we was like, yo, he was dope. Because before that, my man was getting killed. They was like, bro, the dude from Knight's Tale, the dude from Brokeback Mountain, that's who y'all want for Joker? You know, so like for fans, we don't have that capacity because that's just not our perspective, and that's okay. So all I'm saying is let's get somebody super talented. Don't just get some random nobody. Put him in the role, and he's going to pick up that baton where he left off. And one other objection I should address, because people misinterpret what all this means, what recasting T'Challa means. It does not mean that Shuri or somebody else can't be Black Panther. It's not about the mantle. It has nothing to do with the mantle. Because if you want to talk about like, well, in the comics, this person had the mantle. In the comics, guess what? T'Challa was still there. T'Challa still existed. He might have been in a coma. He might have been off somewhere else, but the man still existed. And like you were talking about earlier, Brandon, about how Kevin Feige made that announcement, people are walking around with the false assumption, because it's an assumption, that he was only talking about Black Panther 2. No, he wasn't. Right. He didn't put a condition on that. He didn't say we're not going to recast for Black Panther 2. He said we're not recasting. That means it's not happening. That means they're going to either, well, I doubt they put him in the background like Paul Walker, but they're probably going to kill him off screen. And I don't think people understand how that's going to feel, because a lot of people are like, oh man, but can we wait, take some time to heal? Well, how are you going to feel when you heal up? July 22nd, 2022 comes around and you go watch Black Panther 2 and they like, yep, T'Challa's dead, y'all. Y'all killed him again? Yeah. Like, and we just got over healing over that. So that's why I'm trying to get ahead of that. I'm trying to give Marvel some time by bringing awareness to this that people are not aware of, because again, most fans are not going to react until it actually happens. By that time, it'll be too late. So I'm like, yo, let's get this recast going. If y'all need to delay, if you got to take whatever time you need to do whatever you got to do, that's fine. We got a Wakanda series coming up. We got a movie coming up. You can push things, switch things up, whatever you got to do, but keep this man's work preserved by letting it continue, by fulfilling the character. And the other thing, if we're really being honest, can we not limit Chadwick's career to just Black Panther? My man, if we're talking about honoring Chadwick Boseman, he was more than just T'Challa. He was Jackie Robinson. He was James Brown. He was Thurgood Marshall. My man should be remembered for all that he did as an actor, and T'Challa should be remembered for all that he has in terms of significance for the comics and the MCU. So we can do both things. And hey, if you want to give the title to Shuri, if you want to give it to somebody, cool. Can we all elevate? Can all Black people succeed? Because I'm just saying, I don't think we have to play this crabs in a barrel mentality where it's like only one Black person can be the superhero and the other one's got to get killed off. That's that racist, discriminatory Hollywood math that they play with Black superheroes. Black characters get subtraction, division, and substitution, where only one can elevate at a time. But white characters get multiplication and addition all day. That's not fair, and it doesn't allow the character and the legacy of Black Panther to add on for future generations. So yes, recast T'Challa so we can keep this memory going. We are never going to forget Chadwick Boseman. We are not replacing him. We are honoring him by continuing the work that he built up to make Black Panther bigger than the comics and known by everybody. So yes, hashtag recast T'Challa. You heard it from your boy.
Already. Larry, what you got, man? What you got?
Larry, if you say one thing about Killmonger, if you say one thing about Killmonger.
What you got, Larry? What you got?
I wasn't even going to say anything about Killmonger, but now that you've done it, I really don't have to. But my question is, we've seen, as you mentioned, we have seen other iconic comic book characters recast. We've seen Superman recast. We've seen Spider-Man recast. We've seen the Joker recast. We've seen a number of recastings. Should they pick up from where they left off with the Black Panther's character, or should we see another origin story with a new T'Challa? Should we maybe do a Wakanda series that leads up to maybe another origin story so that we can reintroduce? Because it's been a few years since the kids have some of the kids have seen him. There'll be some other kids that maybe had never seen Black Panther coming up. My thought is maybe they should just do another origin story. It's not like we haven't seen 15 of them from Spider-Man. We've seen a couple from Superman. Why not just do another origin story with Black Panther and then roll from there?
Let me I'm gonna answer that, and let me grab this super chat.
What a money reside. What a money reside. What a money.
Thank you so much, D-Rock, for the $5. Denzel Washington's son should play T'Challa. There was
I don't even know if he wants to play T'Challa.
Between Denzel and Chadwick, he basically passed the torch to Chadwick. I'm cool with it. Let's
not forget that Denzel is his father's son, and Denzel has adamantly spoke out against playing these franchise roles. He does not want to be in a franchise. He said he doesn't want to be. He hasn't done it. The closest he's came to it is the Equalizer. And if he's anything like his dad, he may not want to play T'Challa.
Well, to be fair,
I have to say this real quick because there's still some confusion. Lex is, why are we acting like there isn't going to be a Black Panther anymore? That is not what we're saying. Yeah. Okay, we're going to have more Black Panther. There was more Black people that took on the mantle in the comics. We're talking about T'Challa. T'Challa is a rich character and there's rich story, and I do not want that. I do not want that going down the toilet. Okay, I mean, you're literally throwing money away by not recasting this dude. And so I want them to recast T'Challa, and in addition to that, I want to see more characters take on the mantle.
That's what I'm saying.
It's
not an either or. It's not either or. It's not like, oh man, let's get rid of this. And that's what I'm talking about. We've been conditioned to think that only one popular Black actor, like the Will Smith and Denzel, and if it ain't him, nobody else can live. Like that's the same conditioning. I'm saying let's break that. Everybody elevate. Matter of fact, if we really want to talk about representation, the dope thing that they did in the comics, when Shuri was elevating and becoming the queen of Wakanda, she did it with T'Challa's support. Do you know how powerful of an image that would look to be, for all of us to see a strong Black man supporting a strong Black woman as she becomes in power?
Yes,
that's what I'm saying. T'Challa is the gateway. He's the Jackie Robinson of other Black characters, and he helps elevate other people while maintaining his own significance. So we don't need to play this either or game with them. Agreed. Everybody can eat. Agreed. That's all we want.
And Larry,
can we get a whole series about a whole Disney Plus series about the Dora Milaje though? Can we do that?
You got that article right there from Deadline that Ryan Coogler are going to be talking about. And Larry, I'm going to answer your question in just a second about that. But I have to say, I just learned about this and tying in what you just said, Eman, about Shuri taking on the Black Panther role and her brother T'Challa taking on. I just found out about this story like a week ago that I want all y'all to check out. Of they're in Wakanda and the symbiotes or something like that try to invade Wakanda, and then like Shuri and T'Challa have to team up to take them away, and like because of the frequency they're able to infiltrate Wakanda. It was a badass story, and like the Black Panther god Bass came through. And it was nice. I was like, damn, I didn't know. I knew Wakanda was nice, but I didn't know that was that nice.
I'm trying to tell people, like, y'all don't realize how much we're losing by losing one character just to elevate another. In the comics, every Black person in Black Panther gets they shine. It's a beautiful thing. That's why we need to recast T'Challa. It's going to be great. I promise y'all.
They do, like, both of them are geniuses, right? And just kind of seeing them going back and forth, like, okay, you do this part, I'm gonna do this part, and it was bad. They needed both of them together. Like, it was no way they could have won unless both of their minds came together too, and they barely did it. It was a if you go to I'm gonna shout out this YouTube channel. I think this is the right one. It's somewhere. It's called Variant Comics. I'm pretty sure y'all heard of this channel.
Yeah,
before.
Variant Comics. Yeah.
But I think it was this channel where I saw this like a week ago.
It was up top. The Symbionts invade Wakanda.
Where is it at? It
was right up top.
Where is it at? Okay, yeah. Check that video out right there. Symbiotes invade Wakanda. I want to see, man. I'm getting excited. Okay.
Look, I'm trying to get ahead. I know some people are not there yet because, again, it hasn't happened, but I'm trying to tell y'all this is not only good for the story and the narratives, but it's also good for the representation, the social impact, and it's also good business-wise for Marvel, because if and when they do go try and kill off T'Challa, I think they're going to get some real pushback, and it's not going to be good. But that's why it's important for us to kind of be like, hey, because I think they really do have the assumption, because nobody wants to talk about it, that we're okay with just getting rid of that first leading Black character of T'Challa. Like, yeah, we understand the emotional side, totally get that. But let's not act like we can't honor the real person and keep the real character going at the same time. It's a false dilemma to think that we can only do one at the time. Like, no, we can do both. It's possible.
What a money reside. What a money reside. What a
thank you so much, Laney Womack, for another super chat. That's what's up. $9.99, somewhat related to Black figures in film, but I really appreciated the discussion you and Larry had on Lamont's video about Monica sacrificing herself for the boys and the betrayal of Black men. That was she talking about on Friday. So yes, ma'am. And thank you very much for that. I do appreciate it. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you. Now, addressing what you said, Larry, about the origin. I mean, I don't think I would be cool with that, because it would be maybe if we just had the Black Panther movie, but T'Challa was he's been in other MCU shows as well. And for me personally, in the subjective standpoint, that would just kind of ruin the continuity more. I mean, it's going to be ruined because we're wanting it to be recast. We can't do anything about that. You know, unfortunately, Chadwick isn't coming back, but I don't know how I feel about them just doing another origin. So
I don't think
that's just me.
Yeah, I don't think they would, only because they're trying to get away from origin stories. You know, here's my thing. I don't care how they bring him back. You know, if they want to do a prequel story, cool. Yeah, my thing is just like, yo, just don't get rid of the character. You know, that like, leave it at that. If you want to go in the multiverse and grab another T'Challa, that's fine. Whatever. You know, however, if you want to pull the Aunt Viv move from Fresh Prince and just show up, you know, with somebody else, fine. Whatever story you want to spin it's fine with me. Just keep the character going, because there's 55 years of stories. And I don't think people realize, you look at Killmonger, Larry's boy, he's not a significant character. He does not have, the only side story they did for him was a prequel story of just like how he became Killmonger. That's it. His only purpose and function in the comics was to be T'Challa's antagonist and throw him over the waterfall, and his story is done. Like, he's not significant like that. That's like trying to say, yo, let's make Sabretooth the new Wolverine.
Fighting, what's his name? Kane from Deadpool. Had him fighting that dude. Killmonger's been around for a minute. Killmonger wasn't insignificant.
I'm just saying that's the purpose of he is tied to T'Challa more than anything. That's all I'm saying. And even Shuri, when she had her solo run, you're talking about like a couple years versus decades for T'Challa. So again,
Right.
we don't have to play either or. We don't have to play the crabs in a barrel. Let everybody rise, everybody elevate. You know what I'm saying? And we can make this work.
Right on. One take, big dog. What you got, man?
Go ahead,
Let me hear from one take, real quick.
Okay. I've gone back and forth on this a few times. I think when I first came out, I was kind of like, nah, I didn't want it to be recast. But Eman made some great points, and considering the fact that you just kind of noticed the recasting in other Marvel films with like Don Cheadle, Hawkeye's daughter, Ant-Man's daughter. You know, I saw those. I seen you see all of those people, and you like, and I was kind of one of those people who's like, because I rewatched Infinity War Endgame this week. I was kind of like, man, it kind of sucked that these people like getting their roles took by somebody a little bit more famous. But with the whole situation with Chadwick Boseman, it's understandable that you put somebody else in that role. So I think I would at this point right now. I don't know how I feel tomorrow or I feel next week, but I understand the reasoning behind recasting the character of T'Challa.
Oh, really? Larry, you about to say something? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly where in the comics it was. I was reading it, I don't know, maybe a couple years ago, where when I was reading through the Black Panther comics, and there was a part where T'Challa's off, or Black Panther as T'Challa was off fighting with the Avengers, I believe, or off fighting wherever, and there's like a coup attempt or a takeover of Wakanda, and he has to leave what he was doing to go back to Wakanda to shore up his kingdom.
Yep.
I'm thinking to myself, that's perfect. You simply have, like, I don't know if they would want to do this for the Wakanda series on Disney Plus, but you can have it where you basically have Wakanda in turmoil, where T'Challa's off fighting, Wakanda's up there, Shuri and whoever else is fighting, trying to keep it from being taken over, and then T'Challa has to come back. He comes back in his full Black Panther thing, and when he hits, when he does the thing and his headgear comes down, we have the new T'Challa.
But speaking to that though, that's what the thing I was always talking about is that I wanted the series before the next movie, and I understand they want to run it, but I still think it's better if we get because it'll get us in the groove of it. I guess is the best way I can say it.
I agree.
I don't think you just drop that movie on us first. And that's our first time seeing it. I don't know.
Bro, I did a video on that. I said they should delay Black Panther 2, push it off, give us the Wakanda series. This is before it was announced too, by the way. So I said, give us a Wakanda series, because what Kevin Feige was talking about was like, hey, we're going to explore the other stories of Wakanda and look at all the other characters, in the movie. Well, outside of T'Challa, all the other characters were supporting characters, and you talking about world building. So if you're talking about world building and supporting characters, that's a Disney Plus show. Is that not what we just got with WandaVision? Is that not what we about to get with Falcon and Winter Soldier? So if you want to do a M'Baku series, if you want to do a Shuri series, you can do those type of things in a show, especially if you want to elevate Shuri, because a lot of people do believe that it's way too soon to just automatically make her Black Panther. Yeah. But my thing is, like, I have no problem giving her more screen time so we can see her rise. We can connect with her more, just like how we just connected with Wanda after all these episodes. We can do that with Shuri in a show. So by the time we get to a Black Panther 2, we in there. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the big climactic show now. So I think that definitely would have been a better option. The shows have the same budget as the movies anyway. Just replace it. Just switch it. Give us time to heal, whatever you want to do. It ain't got to be immediate. And if we're going to the comics, there was a dope compromise between T'Challa and Shuri, where T'Challa was like, man, it's all these other threats going on with the Avengers and stuff. And, Shuri was like, yeah, but Wakanda, and Shuri was like, okay, cool. I'll be the queen here. You be the, the diplomatic person or whatever. You go fight them fights out there. I got Wakanda. We can't have that compromise.
It seems like we have the story ready to go because when they ended Black Panther, it ended with T'Challa saying we're going to open up, our country and our technology to the rest of the world.
Yes.
And so it would be great if Shuri's up there exporting, say, Wakandan medical technology to the rest of the world.
Yes.
And then someone takes a piece of that med tech and converts it into a weapon. And that then causes people back home to be pissed off and saying, wait a minute, we didn't want this to begin with. And now they're taking the little bit we gave them and turning it into weapons. So we need to lock everything back down.
But that's
the Civil War. They go on. The series happens. T'Challa comes back home. New reveal. We have new T'Challa. Boom.
So cast Larry as T'Challa.
No, Larry is on point. Larry is on point because this is something that, like, if you only watch the Black Panther in the MCU, you don't know how deep the comics go. The comics are all about the political and social struggles of Wakanda, especially in terms of like, do we adapt? Should we not adapt? Should we open? Should we not open? How do we deal with these other tribes and stuff? It's all these really dope concepts and dynamics going on. And that's what, and the thing is, in the center of almost all of it is T'Challa. He's always the person that has to figure out, what do we do? How do I manage this? Is this right? Is this wrong? And I'm sitting here like, yo, y'all just left his story hanging right when he did the most, monumental thing in Wakandan history, which was to open it up. He has to still deal with the consequences of that. So when we sit here and go get rid of T'Challa, when Marvel gets rid of him, I'm like, what are y'all doing? Like that's literally his entire arc, is trying to figure out and juggle all of this. And then you bring in Shuri, who also has to deal with a lot of these issues too. So when we talk about they're throwing history, they're throwing stories out the window, it's a travesty, because the comics have been brilliant and they really do Black culture a huge service, especially with the representation for Black women. I'm telling you, the Black women and the fact that the Black men honor them. I mean, I'm just saying, this is what we actually want, and we don't realize that Marvel is kind of getting rid of it in this whole crusade of like just not recasting him. So recast T'Challa.
Right on. So recast T'Challa Part 1. Go watch that. Recast T'Challa. You watch Part 2. You watching that. And just real quick, Eman was talking about earlier, should Marvel delay Black Panther? And one take, talking about the Disney Plus show. He got 2 videos. Y'all can go check that out on his channel. That's on my channel tab and the link in the description box. And guys, just real quick, the call to action is, I already made this tweet out earlier right here. Let me go ahead and
thank you for tagging them. Yes.
Yeah.
Tag them. They need to see the tags.
So I tweeted this right before the show. So you can follow me on Twitter at JustMyOpinion84. That's my name. Marvel Studios should recast T'Challa for Black Panther 2 per at Eman's reviews. I did at Marvel Studios, at Kevin Feige, at Black Panther. I hashtag Ryan Coogler because he don't have no Twitter. I added everybody with the article. So this is what I want y'all to do in the chat. All 88 of y'all, please just go to Twitter and retweet this. Just retweet it.
And let me just add, they are listening.
Yes.
They are listening. The thing is, right now, they think that people are not aware. They think that people don't care. So that's why they will listen to this pressure, because right now is the time where they're still in the scripting mode. They can make changes and stuff.
Right.
And I was, I was told specifically, I sent my article to Marvel Studios. They will forward that over to Kevin Feige. I also have it going. I sent it straight to Ryan Coogler's publicist, to his people. They already informed me that he will be seeing it. And I also have somebody else sending it to Nate Moore, the other only Black producer on Black Panther. They are listening, but they won't care if other people don't also chime in. So it is very important that y'all are sharing the hashtag, sharing the article. I mean, I don't get nothing for this. Like, I'm not getting paid for the article or nothing, but it's important for them to see this, just to see that people care. Right. And as long as they know people care, action can happen. And I don't even care if they be political about it. I don't care if they sit here and be like, we were never gonna get rid of T'Challa in the first place. You know, whatever. You know, that's fine. But the thing is, what they did was they painted themselves in a bad corner, and I need them to get out of it because, again, they did not give us a time schedule. They said they were not recasting. It was not just for Black Panther 2. They was gonna do something else because they actually changed the script of what they originally were gonna do with Chadwick, and that lets me know that y'all are really not interested in recasting the character if you had to go redo the script.
Right.
So
yeah, there you go, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and close this out real quick. But here's the article right here that Eman right there did, and I tweeted it out, tagged everybody, so you can just follow me on Twitter and just hit the retweet, and also a link to the article is down in the description box. Okay.